Hey everyone, this is Helena, and I'm here with Valerie Greene again today. For those of you who aren't familiar with Valerie, she is a love and relationship coach who helps individuals and couples attract, reignite, and maintain lasting love by deepening the connection and intimacy in their relationship. And today we're so excited. We're going to be actually sharing a meditation to help heal your anxious attachment style. I'm going to ask Valerie a couple questions and we're going to get right into this exercise. We've been getting so many requests for this after our live stream we did on how to heal an anxious attachment style. So Valerie, thank you so much for being here again and welcome. I'm very, very excited for this topic.
Thanks, Helena. That was such a great introduction. And yeah, I've been getting such positive feedback about that other video that we did that we'll post below about how to heal an anxious attachment style. And so in this video, we're really just going to do a recap of how do you know you have an anxious attachment style, and then really get right into the meditation, because this is something that I think people can go to again and again, anytime you feel that sense of fear and anxiousness, that you can really self-soothe and feel confident and resourced on the inside, and then take actions that inspire your partner to create more intimacy and connection. And that's what I love helping people do.
Yes, I know you're like the top expert and genius at this. I recommend clients who have this anxious attachment style going on all the time. So click the link in the description at any time during this video to check out all the other videos we've done together. Or if you want to book a breakthrough session, if you're still letting people apply for that, we'll include links to everything in the description. Also, my cat Leo's just joining us. I just noticed making his video debut at my new place. So he'll probably be hanging around for the rest of this video. So let's just jump right in, Valerie. How does someone know if they have an anxious attachment style?
Yeah, and so, I do describe it a lot more in our previous video about that topic, but I'll summarize it here. So basically, there's 4 attachment styles that scientists have categorized, and people with an anxious attachment style is about 20% of the population. So you're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's not a pathology. I basically look at attachment styles as just a certain skill set that you didn't get. If you have an insecure attachment, you didn't learn the skills of how to create a secure attachment, which basically means that you feel secure on the inside and you have a comfort in being close to people, and you trust that others care about you, and you find it easy to ask for what you want in a way that also inspires the other person, as opposed to pushes them away. Like, you have those skills to create that closeness. And so if you have an anxious attachment style, basically what that means is that when you get into a relationship, you feel insecure. You feel like no matter how much your partner is pursuing you or showing you that, I know that most of our audience is women, so I'll use the example of women, but also men have an anxious attachment style. It's not just women. Let's say that you're a woman, because I'll use that as an example. Like, you start dating a guy, no matter how much he pursues you and tells you that he's into you, you don't believe it, you doubt it. And if he doesn't call, you allow your mind to, run off with fantasies about maybe he doesn't like me, maybe he's with another woman. You tend to get anxious about, him not caring, and you need constant reassurance that he's into you, and you can't really take it in even when he tells you that he is, and it kind of preoccupies your mind and takes you over. And what that causes is that it shows up in behavior that usually the man you're with might categorize as being needy or demanding. That, like, no matter how much you ask for things, it's never enough, from his point of view. And even though you're asking for legitimate things, it's just that because you're asking from an anxious place, like, well, where were you and why didn't you call? And, like, maybe you'll call him because you want to check up on him, or maybe, you'll keep asking for him to let you know that he cares about you. And then it occurs to him is that you're being needy. And really what's underneath all of this is that people with an anxious attachment style fear being abandoned. And they really crave that reassurance that he does love and care. And the healing, as we go into much more detail in that video about how to feel more secure if you have an anxious attachment style, which we'll put the link below because that's like a 40-minute video, I think, that the healing is in learning how to give that reassurance to yourself and learning how to meet your own emotional needs so that when you ask for them, then it's not coming out of a place of lack. And oh my God, like basically what happens is that people with an anxious attachment style have a hypersensitivity to being alone and, really don't know how to handle this feeling like, oh my God, I don't know whether he cares about me or not. I don't know whether he loves me or not. And so this meditation and the healing a lot is about recognizing how to give that reassurance and love and care and soothing to yourself and how to challenge those limiting beliefs within yourself so that you don't need to ask him for reassurance. Because if a man's really into you, I know you've been talking a lot about this lately, Helena, in your videos with your boyfriend. Like if he's really into you, he'll do that all on his own and you don't have to ask him.
So
which
true.
which doesn't mean that you can't, right? Like if you're really the healing of anxious attachment is recognizing when it's healthy to ask for what you want and when it's coming out of that needy place.
Totally.
And like,
I was just going to say, I mean, it's so funny. Even today, right before we started recording, it was like, for one of the first times, I'm like, for no reason, for seemingly no reason, I'm like, I feel like some kind of anxious attachment style getting activated. I was just like asking for reassurance over and over and over, even though nothing had happened. Everything was totally fine. So, I mean, this is going to be really helpful for me personally today. I'm really excited for that. I also wanted to mention that we recorded a video on how to inspire your partner to meet your needs if they have an avoidant attachment style, because I know those two really, they really kind of attract each other like magnets, right? So that would be really helpful too. I'll include that in the description. I imagine that this meditation you're going to share would be helpful if, let's say, someone is, feeling anxious and wanting to like reach out and text their partner or the guy they're dating. Or, I hear from so many women who say they come and watch my videos when they feel that urgency, that like anxious need to reach out or have some decision made or move something forward. And it's all just kind of coming from this anxious attachment style place. So when would be another time someone could use this?
Exactly. And I want to say that like just because you feel anxious doesn't mean you have an anxious attachment style, but this meditation will work for that too. Because the main skill to learn from this meditation is how to reassure yourself and how to self-soothe, so that the main skill that people with a secure attachment style have is they can ask for what they want and they trust that the person wants to give it to them. So then even in the asking, it's done in an inspiring way. And so that you need to do this meditation, or I don't think people need to do anything, but that this meditation would help if when you think about reaching out to the guy that you're dating or the woman, if you're a man, if it's coming from that needy place where it's like, I don't know if he cares and I don't, I need to reach out to him to make sure that he cares, and or if you're coming from an angry place and you're demanding that he do something, basically anytime that you're in fight or flight, or you're triggered, if you're like reaching out from that place of being angry or demanding, then that's the right time to do this meditation. Or if you're reaching out from that place of anxiety and you're going to be like, why aren't you calling back? And what's wrong with you? And what's going on? Like, then obviously like he's going to feel pressured if you do that. And so instead do this meditation and then see what occurs to you to reach out from a more secure place. And we talk a lot about that in the video about how to initiate while staying in your feminine energy. So I think kind of like all the videos work together.
Yeah.
But, listen to this meditation first.
Great. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I can't wait for this. I'm ready to just get right into it. Unless is there anything you want to say before, anything else you want to mention?
Yeah. I think it'd be helpful to know how to catch yourself when you're in fight or flight. Because basically what happens when you're in fight or flight is that the blood drains out of your thinking brain and it goes into your arms and hands so you can fight, or your legs so you can run away. And so that's not the right time to communicate, because you're going to say something that you're going to regret. So when you notice you're in fight or flight, the quick fixes, if you don't have time to do this meditation, are literally like, that expression, come to your senses, is actually really accurate. Like, slow down, take deep breaths, notice that your heart rate is beating fast, and your breathing is shallow, and literally take deep breaths and spend 60 seconds just like noticing, okay, what does this table feel like? It's cool and smooth. And what am I looking at in front of me? I'm looking at the trees out the window and the flowers on my windowsill, and they're purple. Obviously, I like purple. And, just like really being in your senses. It helps to get you grounded. And if you don't have time to do this meditation, like, that's a quick fix to just notice that you're in fight or flight. But if you do have just 10 minutes, which should be around how long this meditation is, then I recommend that you do it, because basically what this meditation is, it's a parts work meditation. And what that means is that we all have different parts of us. Like the simple example is that we have a masculine part of us that wants to accomplish things and solve problems and do, provide. And then we have a feminine part of us that wants to just receive and be in our feelings and, be in touch with our intuition. And those are just examples of different parts of us. But actually, we have many different parts of us that are active in different times. And so when we are taken over by anxiety, or anxiousness, then we can look at that as a part of us. And the reason to do that is because then it doesn't take us over. It's kind of like you're driving a car and you get a little engine light come on. You can't tell what's going on with the car until you pull it over and you walk around and you open the hood and you see what's going on. It's the same thing with this. If you're just allowing yourself to be taken over by those thoughts and feelings, you don't have a higher perspective in order to really help to heal them and shift them. And so the meditation is going to help you be this non-judgmental observer who is really giving this part of you what she needs or it needs in order to feel more secure. And I like to say that, like, the point of this meditation is that challenging emotions are either caused by an unmet need or a limiting belief. And the unmet need could be either from now or from the past. But the skill and what we're going to be doing in this meditation is learning how to meet that need within ourselves, and then to challenge that limiting belief from a really self-aware, higher perspective, which is why we look at it as a part of you. So then, the whole that's greater than the sum of its parts has that higher perspective to then be able to really provide that wisdom and that love and care that this part of you needs in order to feel more secure. And so that's the point of this meditation.
Love it. Yes. We talked about the parts of self theory. I believe it was Dr. Richard Schwartz. Do I have that right? Who was the founder who kind of came up with that. We talked a lot about that in our video on how to heal your emotional wounds and triggers so you can finally experience that love you want. I feel like I'm plugging all our other videos, but they do all kind of work together. I'll include links to all of them in the description. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll go ahead and mute myself so the camera just stays on you. And I'm excited to do this right along with everyone else. So go ahead and get started.
Yeah, and so I invite you, first of all, to just allow your eyes to fall shut and really sink into the support that you're sitting on. Allow yourself to really feel grounded and held up by the chair that you're sitting on or the couch or whatever you're sitting on. And let's first just become aware of your body. So allow your breathing to be full and natural, in and out. And just pay attention to your breathing, because in a moment I'll ask you to call forth a situation, and like paying attention to your breathing is important, because maintaining a natural deep breath is going to help you to become resourced. And so just become aware of your hands and what they're touching, and your feet and what they're touching. And just take a few moments to just feel your body as you're sitting there right now. Just feel grounded and centered. Recognizing that you do feel safe in this moment because you're listening to this meditation. So there's nothing immediately unsafe in your environment, and just allowing yourself to take that in, that right now in this moment you're safe. And then from that space, I'd like you to bring to mind a recent experience that you felt that sense of anxiousness come up. It might be that you're dating someone and he didn't call you back, or you haven't heard from him in a few days, or maybe he's MIA, or maybe he recently said something to you that triggered you. So just bring that to mind. And what I'd like you to do is just to notice the sensations in your body that come up when you think of the situation. Really call that to mind. And I'd like you to just be aware of where in your body you're feeling that. And is it hot or cold? And just be aware of, is it expansive or contracted? And to be aware of all of the sensations, like where do they start and end? Do they stay in one place? Do they move around? Is it in your stomach or your abdomen or your heart or your throat? Is it like a tightness or a pressure, tingliness, contraction? Just really pay attention to the sensations and notice the difference between saying, I feel this way, versus I'm noticing that something in me feels this way. Just recognize that there's you as the observer, and then there's this part of you that feels that way. And notice what happens to the sensation. Usually it feels a little bit more contained, and then you can be with it. There's you as the observer, and then there's this part of you who feels this way. And just notice how it feels to say hello to this part. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say it inwardly. Notice how that feels to really get that there's you who is your current age, and then there's this part of you that might feel a little younger. So you might want to start out by asking this part, how old are you? And you might get an age and numbers. You might get an image or a picture. That's one way to sort of separate from this part of you, that you're the mature adult and this part of you is probably a younger part. And then you can intend to be with this part the way that you would be with a younger person of this age. Maybe it's your current age. It doesn't have to be younger. But the question to ask next is, does it feel okay to just spend some time with this part and really get to know it or her better? And you'll know, because you'll just ask, does it feel okay? And you'll hear a voice if it doesn't, like, no, it's not. This is silly or stupid, or I don't like it. And so you might have to be with that other part first. Ask how that part feels as a sensation in your body. And then you can do the rest of this meditation with that part. And then you can do it again and be with the original part. So I'm going to keep going. And when I say it or she, then I'm referring to whichever part it felt able to be with. So you can begin by setting this part compassion. What that means is that you're opening your heart. You imagine you're unzipping your heart, just allowing yourself to relate to this part like you care about it. If it was a younger part, then you would actually treat it like a child of this age. But if it's the same age, then you can ask yourself, how would you be with a friend who came to you and told you about this situation happening to her, and you're not giving her advice? You're just sending her compassion and care. Like, I care about you. And if it is a child that you're seeing an image of, you can imagine that you're relating to a child of this age and picking her up and soothing her and saying, I care about you. Tell me what you're scared of. Tell me what it is that you're believing about yourself. And just listen, and then let her know that you hear her. And you can ask if this part of you wants to be called it, like the feeling, or if it wants to be called he or she, like your inner child. And you'll know the answer because it'll kind of feel right. You'll feel this like sense of rightness, like kind of like if I ask, is 2 + 2 = 3? Like there's a sense of unrightness. And if I say, does 2 + 2 = 4? There's a sense of rightness. And that's the feeling that you're looking for when you're asking this part. Do you want to be called she or it? or something else. And it doesn't matter if it makes sense. Just whatever happens, just say, oh, you want to be called Shirley, or whatever this part wants to be called. And just let it know that you care about it or her. Send a compassion. Listen to her feelings. I'm going to say her, but you can relate to this part of you however it or she wants to be called. And so you really just want to get, how does this part of you want you to be with her? Does she want you to pick her up and listen to her? And the main question to ask is, what does she need in this situation? And you can start out by saying, well, what does she need from this guy? You know, I need him to call me back. And great. And so what would that provide for her? What experience is she looking to have? She's looking to feel loved, cared about. And so you can give that to her now. I invite you to just really be with her the way that you would be with a child or a friend. If she came up to you and said, I need love and I need reassurance, you wouldn't just say the words, I love and care about you. You would show her. And so I invite you to really show this part of you love. And, you know, you can see I'm putting my hand over my heart right now. And you might put your hand there. You might like imagine a scenario where you're picking her up and hugging her. You might tell her that no matter what happens with this guy or this gal that you're dating, that you're going to love her no matter what, that you're going to be there for her. And that's actually the basis of true security, is feeling like no matter what happens, you're going to love and accept yourself, and you're going to handle whatever situation that's happening with an open heart. So whatever actions or imaginations happen within you right now to show this part that you love and care about her, you can imagine doing that. And just notice what happens with the sensation. Still taking deep breaths. And you might ask this part if she sees you and how old she thinks you are. Does she really see that you're your current age? And show her that you're your current age and you're going to take care of her the same way that you would take care of a child or a friend who's her age, from the mature, loving adult, because there is a part of you that knows how to love this part of yourself. This part of you deserves love from you. And from that loving place, you want to ask her, is there a limiting belief that's underneath? And it would come as some kind of I am statement, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, something like that. And what you want to do is you want to demonstrate to this part of you the truth about that. Once again, you wouldn't say it in words. You would turn towards this part of you and imagine that you're embracing her, and you would show her that she's worthy, and show her that she's lovable, and show her that she's deserving. And just notice how the feeling shifts. And you might get some resistance, and that's okay, because then that's another part of you that you can be with. So you could do this meditation again with that other part. But just focus on really giving any part of you that shows up love and empathy, asking what this part's story is, really listening, empathizing. Might show you memories, and if it does, you can just say, there's that other video about how to heal your emotional wounds and triggers where I talk about memories. Or right now, just acknowledge that that was your story, but that's not who you are now. Who you are now is giving love to this part of you, giving acceptance to this part of you, and whatever it is that you need from that guy, really giving it to yourself. And just noticing how that shifts the feeling. Does it now feel more warm and expansive? open, hopeful. And if it doesn't, then what is it that she needs from you in order to meet that need or challenge that limiting belief? And you might ask her, what is a loving action that she wants you to take for her today after this meditation is over? Maybe it's to do self-care and take a bath or exercise or call a girlfriend. Really get what it is that that action would be for her and commit to taking that action. And maybe what she wants you to do is to learn a skill. You can ask her if she trusts you to take care of her, that you're responsible for taking care of her before you ask a man to. And if she doesn't trust you, then what skills do you need to learn in order to have her trust you? Do you maybe need to learn how to honor your boundaries or how to ask for what you need in an inspiring way? And really commit to learning those skills so that this part of you feels taken care of by you. And just notice what that feels like. This is just the beginning of an inner relationship, and you can keep coming back to this again and again and go deeper in your inner relationship with this part of you so that she feels really secure and confident that you can take that loving action for her. You can go ahead and imagine yourself taking that loving action and just noticing how that makes this part of you feel, and maybe you feel excited or hopeful. And breathing into that new feeling. Just noticing how you feel different now than you did in the beginning of this meditation. Just allow yourself to visualize taking that action and visualize feeling more secure and visualize reaching out to people for support that actually care about you and creating more love and more intimacy in your life. And just notice if you feel hopeful about that. And if you don't, then it's just more skills for you to learn that you have the opportunity to learn. And now you can ask yourself if you're coming to a good place to close, or if something else wants to happen before we close. And if you're noticing something in you that needs more company, then you can just let it or her know that you'll be back. And see if you'd like to thank and appreciate your inner being for sharing. Commit to taking that loving action for yourself and or learning those skills that she wants you to learn to feel more secure. And you can take your time to bring your awareness back into the room. Once again, just noticing your arms and your hands and feeling the chair or the furniture underneath you. Slowly opening your eyes when you're ready.
That was amazing, Valerie. That was so great. I don't even remember. I'm feeling so floaty and like calm and serene now. It's almost like getting out of your head and into your body, which is what I talk so much about in some of my videos. I can imagine, I hear from so many women who say, he's not texting back, or, I need to reach out and get clarity right now. And what do I do? And the focus is all on him, where I think
Mm-hmm.
from now on, I'm just going to direct them to this video and say,
Great.
do this first, and then take its inspired action from that place. I'm feeling like
Right.
very differently than when I started. This was really amazing. I'm going to go back and do this myself over and over. This was really phenomenal. We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know what your experiences were in the comment section down below.
Yeah.
And any other, I would love to do just a whole series of meditations like this for different situations. I don't know if that's something that you'd want to do, Valerie, but
Oh,
I thought
sure.
this was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
I mean, basically, this meditation was a combination of different parts work modalities. So I took some of it from internal family systems, I took some of it from inner relationship focusing, and I took some of it from inner bonding. And so, I mean, there's so many different modalities that I integrate together that I'm happy to create meditations for different situations. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, that idea just came to me right now. Like, oh, this is like so valuable. This is the work that people need to do rather than focusing on what that next step is, right? I think do
Mm-hmm.
this, focus on yourself, give yourself what you need, and then we can
Right.
go from there. And actually, like recording it in this format, we recorded a similar meditation, just audio only, and we had technical difficulties. The file got corrupted when
Yeah.
it was
I
saving.
guess
So,
it
but
wasn't
I
meant to
actually,
happen.
yeah, I like this format because I felt like you were right. I felt like we were having an actual session. So I'd be curious as to what the other women watching this, if do you like this format? Would you like an audio only? Any other situation where we could record some more videos like this? Because I think this was just
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah. And
That's
speaking
great.
of, yeah, feeling like we were just having a personal session, I know you have some free gifts to offer, including, if you're still making this available, an application for a free 90-minute
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough session for people looking for coaching, right?
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, I did want to say that, this is the inner work. And then, of course, there is outer work of learning the right communication. And I know we have other videos about that, specifically the one about, how to show your feelings and needs in a way that draws them closer. Cause like that's the outer work,
Yeah,
there's
so
the inner
important.
work and then there's the outer work. But yeah, I do have 3 free gifts. And I mean, I know you have a lot of other videos too about the outer work, not just the ones we've done, but I know you post the ones that we've done under the
Yeah.
video. But I have 3 free gifts, and they are one for 2 ebooks, one for single women, one for women in relationship, and another video training for couples. I know you put the links to that below the video as well. And I do have an application for a free 90-minute session that I call a breakthrough session. And that's where I really love creating custom coaching programs for people. And so I take 90 minutes because I really want to hear your story, and then meet you where you're at and create a custom program for you to attract and reignite and sustain lasting love. And I do have a waiting list for that kind of session, but you're welcome to apply, and then I'll put you on the waiting list. And so I am always committed to offering those because I really love that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Every woman I've ever referred that ends up working with you is like, absolutely loves everything that you've worked, everything you've helped them work through. And just, you're such an amazing coach. I know you're a total favorite here on my channel. So thank you so much for coming
Oh,
on. Is
thank
there anything else
you.
you want to say
Pleasure.
before? Yeah, this was amazing. I would really love to do some more like this. Just having done it myself, I can feel the value of it. It's like a whole shift in how you feel, which is what this work is all about. Right. So
Mhm.
anything else you want to say before we close out?
Yeah, I mean, I love meditation. I actually think that it is useful for so many different situations. So I definitely would love to hear what people want customized meditations for, and that sounds like a really fun thing for us to do. So that
Yeah.
I want to pose that question to people too. What do you want meditations about?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be so much fun. I would love to do just a whole series on that. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you have any suggestions for future videos or, exercises like this one, and feel free to share this to anyone you know. I mean, we all have friends and family members who get worked up and feel anxious about, no matter what your attachment style is. I think this could be helpful for you no matter where you are in
Mm.
your love life or in any area of your life. So thank you so much again, Valerie. This was phenomenal, and hopefully we will talk again very soon.